I'm gonna have him grab on here. And board. Alright, rescue number 1. This is what I couldn't do in 3 hours of streaming last night. Achieving the first rescue. So let's get our targeting, our thing back into orbit. We are now going to rendezvous with Minmus. So let's set Minmus as a target. We're actually right almost at the ascending node. And wait, is that? Wait, what? That wasn't Minmus. Here's Minmus. That was the moon. Okay, I was like, wow, that orbit is pretty much almost straight on because the moon is at almost the same orbit. But the reason I want to hit Minmus first is Minmus is pretty hard. It's got very low gravity, so it's hard to hit. So I want to, if I need to make a precise change in the angle of my orbit, which you can see, my orbit's like going this way like a circle, and hit Minmus's orbit is this yellow one, and it's way off. So in order to create an orbit that will intersect, I have to be at the same orbital plane. I have to be tilted in the same way. So that's the first order of business. But it's got a very weak gravity, so you have to get really, really close and precise into it to have it, to get within its sort of sphere of gravitational influence to get an orbit set up. Whereas the moon is a little more forgiving in terms of that. So let's see. And then also we want to do the moon last in case, so we can decide if we can land. So what we're gonna do here, this is no, that's us, Lunar Rescue. We're gonna go the ascending node and descending node are basically like the hinge where our orbits meet. So when we hit that, we'll want to tilt our orbit down to meet with Minmus. Right now the relative inclination is pretty much 6 degrees. We want that to be as close to 0 degrees as possible. So we're going to be pointing down. So we have a number of maneuver nodes that we can automatically lock into. Since our pilot, Jebediah, he's level 2, a very advanced pilot. But not super advanced, but at least he can do some stuff. It shouldn't be a super long burn, but I'm going to go ahead and do a maneuver node just so I have an idea. It's not, I can do it, eyeball this one, it's not super complicated, but it's nice to be able to see how long the burn is going to need to be. Let's see, 0.3, node, 0.2. I think that's about, 0.0. So if we hit that exact maneuver node, and in this scenario, is that going to screw up our orbit at all? Or I think our orbit should still be in good. I just want to make sure because we're at kind of a tight orbit with Kerbal, and sometimes adjusting your orbital plane can also adjust the shape and altitude of your orbit around a body. And since I don't know orbital mechanics intuitively, like someone who does it for a living or who's had a lot of experience with this game would, I'm always gonna double check because I'm constantly not exactly sure how things are gonna play out. It's gonna be 1 second burn, which is almost nothing. So, but now that we got this set up, we'll go ahead and set an alarm for that. We're already pointed in the right direction. Let's add a new alarm. And this is set to stop us a minute before. Let's actually turn that to, say, 30 seconds. Give me a chance to make sure nothing weird happened when we get over there. So it'll be 0 minutes and 30 seconds, add the alarm, and go ahead and warp, and that alarm will take us out of warp 30 seconds before the maneuver node. And good. All right. So we get rid of that alarm. We want our orbit to, yeah, we line up exactly with that. That'll be nice. So when we hit about, I don't know, within 5 seconds, I'm going to start a burn. That's 1 second if I burn a full blast, but because this is high precision, I don't want to do that. I'll overshoot it. So here we go. This is good. Okay, maybe it was a little not quite aggressive enough. We should still be able to get this. No problem. And relative inclination is now 0.2. That's still not awesome. That's not particularly awesome at all. Let's see. I mean, 0.2 is not terrible, but we're talking about a very large scale here, and a very weak gravitation. Okay, I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make one more very fine adjustment at the ascending node. Just... can't even tell which way. I think it's too late for me to adjust it from here. Let's get to the ascending mode. And I can screw around with it a little bit. Let's set up another maneuver here, so I know, I can figure out which way I need to push us. There. I just realized I had my ship centered, and that's why the whole map kept moving. If we center it on Kerbal, that shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so we want... Okay. So we do want to push us down just a tad. Warp to here. And we're already pointing in the right direction. It's just if you get to where you're thrusting and you're not close enough to this hinge, you're not going to be adjusting your tilt in the right plane. You're going to be adjusting it wrong. So you have to do it pretty much exactly when you're at the right spot. Slow down. Nodes in 16 seconds. It should just be literally just a nudge, but 0.2, I want to see if I can do away with that. 5, I'm gonna hit that now. Get a few more zeros in here, the idea. Okay, good. So 0.009 is much better, significantly more accurate. So now the next step that we have an even plane with our orbits is to actually set up the rendezvous. And usually it's about, I don't know, like a slice of pizza. We want to project ahead. So let's start screwing around with a maneuver here, see what things look like. And we can just get our projected orbit to meet up with Minimus's orbit, and then we can screw around a little bit. So that would actually create a rendezvous. This is not a very close rendezvous. But it is a rendezvous. We can do a lot better than that. Let's open this up a little more. That should give us a slightly better margin of error. 96,000 meters. That's good. That's actually good. So let's get ourselves lined up with that maneuver node. And the burn's going to be a little bit longer this time. Let's see what our current staging is. So we're going to switch stages in the middle of that. gonna have to discard these extra fuel tanks in the middle of that burn. So we probably want to start the burn just to give us time to make little weird adjustments and stuff. Normally you want the node is in, you want to hit however long the burn is, you want to cut it in half. So you want half of the burn to be before the node and half of the burn to be after the node. And so that way you can accurately hit exactly where you would point if you could do it somehow magically, the entire thrust at once exactly at the node. That's what you're trying to achieve, if that makes any sense. Let's see. So, but because we're going to be screwing around with the stages and stuff in the middle of it, I'm going to give myself a little more than 30 seconds on each side. So, yeah, let's, we got about 45 seconds left. We'll do that. So let's set up, alarm clock. I'm going to keep it at the default minute. And, excuse me. And we'll hit warp. I want to keep this focus on that fuel tank up because we're going to want to jettison that as soon as it's empty to decrease our mass. Okay. So we are going to be going in about the 40-second mark. All right. 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's full blast. Just realized I drifted off from the center of the maneuver target. Okay, here goes the stage. Coming up in a couple seconds. Alright, bye-bye. And this is coming along nicely. Let's see what's going on the map, make sure it's not getting crazy. Okay, here's our actual course. Gonna start throttling down. This is gonna start moving really fast. Okay. Little fine adjustments here. I might have overshot slightly. So let's get rid of that maneuver node now. We've gotten most of the way what we need. Find after a certain point, a maneuver node, once you need to make fine adjustments, that node just gets in your way. So, looks like... Where's our periapsis over there? Once we get over there. That's the... Okay, it's almost 1 million. It's not great. Now we gotta play around with... Should I have gone... Did I overshoot slightly or undershoot slightly? Okay, we undershot slightly. So, I can keep making fine adjustments here. Oh, shit! Okay, that's too much. I'm gonna crash into the planet now. Doesn't take very much to change our orbital velocity on something that's that far away. Alright, just nudge it, nudge it! Son of a bitch. Bat fingers. Strikes again. But yeah, there's a lot of... In a case like this, it's very forgiving in terms of making adjustments, as long as I'm doing it here, not there. 78,000. That's good. We're gonna keep that. We're gonna stay locked in at that. And so let's change our. Oops. Oh, you know what? Let's warp over here. And we should... Let's see. Where's the... Oh! Yeah, things are happening very fast. I'm warping very quickly. Should start seeing Minmus come into view soon. There it is. Alright. Now that we're a little bit closer, let's actually focus on Minmus. Oh man, I didn't even check how high this guy's orbit was. I should have. That's a huge orbit. Okay. Oh well, we can still make adjustments. Minmus has very little gravity. So making adjustments in orbital altitude is not that much of a challenge. So, in fact, I think I want to... Let's just get over here. I'm gonna warp to here. And I'm just gonna eyeball this. I don't need to make any fancy maneuvers. Because we don't need to be super precise at this point. Not until we're going to actually try for our... Oh shit, hold on. He's going the wrong way. Okay, that's a problem. So, well, let's circularize our orbit and we can deal... We're coming in completely the wrong direction. So if I'd known that, that would have been very easy to correct over here. But I should have zoomed in to see which way this guy's orbiting. Usually there's like a west to east orbit thing. Is sort of the standard. So somehow this guy got all screwed up going the wrong way. Let's get into prograde position. And the node is 3 minutes away, so let's warp up to that. And I think I want to establish an orbit at about maybe 250,000 meters. Sort of be about halfway between Minmus and his orbit. We can use that as a launching point to get a matching trajectory. Wait till we get in. How close are we to this node? 50 still? Alright, let's get closer. Closer. Get closer. 20 seconds. Alright, we're pretty much... This is a good place as any to start. We're gonna do a slow burn. Speed it up a little bit. Oh no, wrong way. Okay. Whoops. At least I didn't burn too much fuel. It was a slow burn. I was actually opening the orbit. What I'm trying to do is close this orbit. Because right now, if we let it go, we're just going to shoot off past it and just be in a super wide orbit around Kerbal. Alright, so let's, there we go. $432. I want to be around 300's good. Somewhere around 300. And then, oh good, our inclination's all a little bit wacky anyways. That's gonna help. It's gonna be okay. Let's just circularize first, and then we'll worry about. We'll worry about changing our orbital plane to match. We have to flip it to catch this guy. But let's have somewhat of a nice circle so we can. So I'm not gonna end up going cross-eyed trying to figure out how to match our planes up, because like I've mentioned, I am no physicist. We're gonna go prograde because we want to increase. We want to speed up our orbit on this side, so we increase how big it is on that side. We want to go from 78,000 up to about 300,000. But our purpose here is not to land on Minmus. We're just here to rescue this guy. So once we got him, we're out of here. And that's not close at all. 7 minutes? Here, let's get in there. It's not going to be a super delicate maneuver. But it's also not going to take very much fuel at all. 1 minute. Here, warp closer. Alright, I'm happy with that. Start the burn. We'll get this up to about 300,000. And cut it. 285 and 296. That's circular enough for me. Okay, let's go ahead and set our friend here as our target. And So what we're gonna have to do, because we're going this way and he's going that way, so we're gonna have to create a node that's going to flip our orbit over. It's gonna tilt it all the way over. So that's kind of a major screw up for this mission, because that could be a lot of fuel to correct something that if I'd been planning properly when we left Kerbin, we could have come into Minmus this way instead of that way. We would have come in this way and been pointed the right direction. So let's add maneuver. I'm gonna do a massive tilt, and that is wow. Okay, that's screwy as hell. No. That's why we play around with this, because I don't even know what the hell's happening right now. Alright, scrap that. That was not good. Might have to do twice, maybe? Maneuver. Here, we'll just do it in a little bit at a time. There we go. More. So it's a good thing I'm doing maneuver node, because this is going to be a complicated trajectory to get us pointed in the right direction. My goodness. So 9.0, 3.9, 3.0. 2.2, 0.8. Alright, somewhere right around there is going to be good. So, gosh, what a weird maneuver to have to pull off, though. You know, we're going to be pointing and all. This is something where I definitely have to have this little thing to play around with to figure out where I need to point. Because we're changing two different axes of trajectory in one maneuver. So if I had to figure that all out in my head, would have been a problem for me. About a 5-second burn. We got about an hour till the node, so let's get set an alarm clock. Alarm for that. Will stop us a minute ahead of time, and speed up. The alarm will slow us down before we get there. There we are. And I think the alarm is still decelerating us. Here we go. Oh, I'm gonna sip my drink here. How are we doing on Delta V? I'm not even paying attention. We still got a total of 3,000 Delta V, so we should at least get our rescue missions done. We may not, once we get done with the rescues, we may not have enough to get down to the moon, but should be alright otherwise. Alright. I'm just gonna start burning this now, because I want to do it slow. So if you're gonna do a slow burn, it's better to start a little bit earlier than hitting it full blast for 4 seconds. Yeah, that orbit is looking jacked, but it should fix itself once it flips. It looks bad now, but once the maneuver finishes, we should no longer be pointed straight into the center of Minmus. There we go. It's evening out a little bit. And slow this down. Watch that. Orbital inclination. Alright, well, we did most of the job right there. Sending node. We should be able to make fine adjustments right now. We need to tilt us down just a little bit, and we happen to be right at the ascending node, so we can make that adjustment now. We want to bring this down 0.4. That's not great. That happened very quickly. Alright, let's just nudge it. We might be too far away from the node to do it effectively, but 0.4 is not great. Okay, that's good. 0.02? That's good. Well, that's close enough, I think, to get us hooked up with him, and we might even be able to... It's in a weird orbit we've got set up here. We might be able to work out a rendezvous from here. I'm actually not super optimistic that we will, but it's possible. We might have to wait until we come back around again. But this could work, actually. Oops. It's a little jacked up that our... You know what, let's circularize our orbit. That's probably the best. It's probably what we should do. Come on. Because that's making it hard to test, to create a stable adjustment that will be somewhat uniform as we move it around the circle. So we're at 293, and the other side's got messed up during our last maneuver, but we got the right plane. We're in the right direction this time, so that's the big thing we achieved. Let's get that up to... Whoop. There, that's about... Oh, and he's got an irregular orbit too. Whatever. We can still work with this. He's got like a weird, slightly egg-shaped orbit. But this will be easier to work with than what I was doing before. Alright, this is... Here, I think I need to get rid of this. Need to warp around. We're gonna warp around one time and then... Oh, crap. Get a little bit ahead of him. Get a little bit more ahead of him. Let's see. Maybe if I start scrolling out the maneuver over here. I keep forgetting we're facing in the wrong direction than what I'm used to. Okay. That's Minmus with its little gravity. It's really hard. It's really easy to overshoot. We're getting further apart. Okay, that's not working. This should be... Whoa, okay. Ooh, do I have a rendezvous here? Or is this just like a totally mismatch? Okay, let's get that out slightly. Let's meet the orbits. .2 kilometers. Let's see if we can get that even closer. Okay, yeah, we can set up a node right there. It's going to be sort of a high precision thing, but the gravity is low enough on here that it shouldn't be too punishing to make adjustments later. All right, so let's see. That's going to be a 1 second burn. Let's set the alarm for a 30-second. Oops. Okay, 25-second. There. I don't know why. That makes me feel better. And we'll warp. Okay. Go. When we hit about the 10-second mark, I'm going to start a slow burn. And now. Adjustment. Oh, is that the end of my, no. Let's get rid of that maneuver. The intersections. Oops. No, that's what I wanted. 12.7 kilometer separation. Alright, and we need to fix that. Okay, need to face the other direction. Yikes. Okay. Somehow this has gotten a little bit screwed up. Alright, so let's see, separation 6.9. Oh, not good. Separation 6.9 kilometers. That's not great. This is a really messy approach. 6.9, I believe, is way too far for me to make adjustments once I'm over there. And I'm not sure how to adjust where I'm at now to accommodate. Let me see if this makes any difference. 6.9. Nope. See, it's way too huge. Intersection 28 kilometers. 2 kilometers. 12, 7. Okay, that's as good as we're gonna get from here. Oh my lord, what a mess. Okay, you know what? Well, screw it. I'm just gonna. This is gonna be imprecise. Oh, and our orbital planes. Okay. Cool. Our ascending node. We need to change our orbital plane again. We need to nudge it up by pointing down. And somehow we've ended up at almost half, or over half of a degree off on our inclination. Too much. Oh, astrophysics. Okay, that's good. Let's try. I'm gonna see if I can make a fine adjustment here. In fact, I'm gonna wait till I am. We're gonna warp here, and I'm gonna screw around with it here and see if I can make an adjustment at the periapsis. Doing a slight nudge to retrograde to slightly shrink this circle a tad. Separation 8.1, 8.7, that's the wrong way forward to go. Okay, 8.7. It really is. Alright, well, I'm just gonna have to go over there and gosh darn it. I should be able to make an adjustment right here, but should be able to make an adjustment that'll meet us up. I don't think I improved matters. 9.5. Nope, it just got worse. I'm probably gonna have to edit this because this is not going smoothly, but I assure you this is going much better than I was doing my stream last night. Which, I shouldn't be bragging about that, really. That's not saying very much. Stop! Shit. It's fat fingers. It's such fine adjustments at this point. Okay, well, that's about it. We'll try one more little adjustment, then we'll get over there. I don't even think I can arrange a rendezvous. You know what? Screw this. We'll just go over there and see if I can make the adjustment while I'm here. Let's warp here. This is the closest we're gonna be. Okay, once we get over there, we're gonna go retrograde. What's our distance? Okay. Let's just point at him. And there's no point even looking with our bare eyes. He's like kilometers away from us. We're just gonna point in his general direction and start going and see what happens. Watching this distance thing shrink down. 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. 2,000. We might be able to actually do it like this. I mean, we're gonna have to make more adjustments before we're done, but... Okay. Yeah, this is gonna work. Let's point at him again. And... Well, actually, let's go retrograde. So we're not going further apart. Get this... Our relative speeds down to 0. And we'll point at him again. And get going a few meters a second towards each other. We might even be able to see him soon. Let's see, distance. 785, 700, 600 meters, 500 meters, 400 meters, 3, 2, slow down. Alright, we're still closing in on him. There'll come a point we'll have to make another adjustment, so let's get into retrograde position so we can slow down when we need to stop going in this direction to readjust. We should be able to maybe see him soon. We might be looking at him already, it's just he looks like a speck against the stars, so... Yeah, we're under 100 meters now. Like coming alongside of him somewhere. Oh, there he is. And in fact, this might actually... I might be able to just do the rest with, Yeah, let's get a little closer. Just a little nudge. And let's get into prograde so we can unnudge once we get right next to him. All right. Let's get Shelson out of there, shall we? Get Shelson's RCS going. Shelson? Oh, you need to let go. Like, just let go, Shelson. You're gonna be fine. And... we're going towards you a little bit there. I think that's new from when I played it a couple years ago, where you can hear the little, like, nose breathing inside the helmet. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I have the volume settings so you guys can hear that the way that I can, but it's pretty... Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We want to go into this crew hatch this time, because we already filled... There's only one person who can fit in there. Alright, this should... Come on. We go inside. It's bored. All right, sweetness is happening. Second rescue has been accomplished.